And recording started. Good. Now, let me just keep the chat on. Now, most of the people are like today. I've given something that's relatively popular in the exams, which came out. Like every exam, we have a similar task. This is going to be a super bad implementation of that, but just we wanted to have. But just the main thing is right now, I'm just trying to drive the point across rather than getting the thing super right now. So yeah. Now, one of the things which I've noticed, like when I give people tasks, they had this problem of I just downloaded the thing and then they hit F5 and then they just simply go completely somewhere else. So they just simply like they have this console application, obviously. Which is not what we want, definitely. The mostly people just forget to have Windows Forms set as a startup project. That's the first thing. So when you are working with Dennis's project, you really need, once you clone it, you really need to set it up. This is from the last class that Dennis actually have given you. Right now, we're going to modify it a bit. So in program.cs, I'm going to actually rely on this firm studenti here. So I'm going to rely on it here. So I'm just going to change this to P7. This, right? So if I actually like hit F5 right now, I get this, right? Now we had several tasks to summarize. One of them was like as Dennis already has done in the classes, but I given to the people just to work on it. So we were having like a list of subjects. You add this. You have a when you form. You add the subjects in the in-memory DB, and then you move on from like you keep adding subjects and stuff for every academic year, and then we assign the subjects to every student based on their academic year. So you have like first year students, second year students, third year students, and then you have subjects that are actually being on the first year, second year, and third year, and then you need to assign every subject to every student according to the academic year. So students from the first year cannot see subjects from the third year, for example, or second year, let's say. So student of the first year can only see the subjects of the first year, not the second, not the third. Okay. So there are multiple stuff that you need to resolve the logic, and obviously there are many approaches to this. There are many better ones than the one which we are going to do right now, and there are worst ones which we are going to use. But the ones which we are going to use are going to be super simple enough that you can get the gist of it, like get the idea or get the picture, and then later on you guys can improve upon this when you are learning, when you are working with coding further, or maybe even like when you go to RS1 and RS2, you can right now learn better software engineering design patterns, right? So currently we are just simply learning how to solve certain problems. All right, so without further ado, we have for every single student, we have Godina Studia, which is good idea, right? We have right now, we know which year does this guy belong to. Now what we can do is create a new class, and I'm going to call this predmet. And right now here, I'm just going to make it as well public, because we're going to need to access it from outside of that namespace, because we're going to need to add it in the in-memory DB bit in a very short, very shortly. So I'm going to have a public string nazif, which is going to have a get and set, and then public string Godina Studia, which is going to be get and set, and then we can actually add Otsina as well, if you want to, right? So you can actually assign the grade to a student once we give the subject to the student. Now, obviously, this is a bad design. It's actually shouldn't be that way. But again, this is just to drive the point across. I would like to get the fluff out of the way. All right, so we have our class of a subject, and what we need to do is a student should have a list of subjects, right? Right, and then what we can do is going to be like, once we, initialize, like once the content is initialized or once the property is there, just we initialize it right away. Excuse me. So now that's actually out of the way. So we have a student that has a list of subjects, and then we have a list of subjects. Now what we need to do is make sure that we have a public static list of predmeti, and then we're going to have predmeti jednako new lista. Yeah. And we are just simply initializing it without any code generation. And this is for the reason because I would like that you guys start to input these subjects, right? So that's the core. This is maybe the core concept or the main reason behind why we are having these guys, right? So that's that. Okay, so everything good so far?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a menu item, menu strip. All right, here I'm just going to call this predmet, for example, and here is going to be the DLE. I think it's called like that. Maybe so maybe it's going to be like this. So right now what's going to happen here is, like, we're going to add a lot of students, and a lot of subjects, and then whenever we click on this button, it will grab every subject and just simply assign it to every student according to their academic year. Heck, you can do that every time when you add a subject. So instead of you going through like a list of subjects with a list of students and then compare and then add, you can actually like do that every time you add a subject. But let me show you this as well, so you can have this also, like this version. I will leave for you the ability that you add more, like when you add a subject, it immediately gets assigned to the appropriate students at their appropriate academic year. All right, so what we need to do is add another form. So I'm just going to create another form here. I'm going to call this FRM admit. And a couple of settings I would like to change here. The first setting is going to be, let me categorize it. So the first thing is going to be form border style is going to be like a fixed tool window, so you don't so you can actually cannot resize it, so it's going to be fixed in size. I could actually disable the minimize and maximize. So right now, if I had actually I cannot do that right now, but we will do it in a minute. And here's going to be text. And right now, what we're going to do is have couple actually of labels here and there. And this one is going to have a this one's going to be so, and we're going to have a text box. Everything is so simple so far. You guys have seen this already. So I'm just going to have a txt. And then the Godino Studio is going to be actually a combo box, because I don't want anybody to edit this. I just would like to use it right away. So let me just shrink this down, maybe expand this a little bit. maybe push these guys a little bit up, and then we're going to have a button right there. One of the requirements which I would like to have is not to add the same subject if it exists, so we're going to need to fix that. And we're going to have here. Okay. And right now we have this named correctly. One of the things which I want to make sure as well, nobody types in here. So I'm just going to make this as a drop-down list, so you cannot type inside. And right now, if I actually click on this, so if I click on this, when I select this one, so I'm just going to have a new FRM dot show dialog. Done. So right now what we are doing here is just simply the moment you click on that thing, just show the dialog and it's done. So right now we start this and you see it. Right now I cannot minimize or maximize. I can just only move the thing, right? And I cannot resize anything. So this one is empty. I cannot write anything in here, right? So no way to write anything. And I can only write here, which is okay. Now we need to fill in this. So if I hit actually F4 somewhere, or some of F4, F7. F7 is show the code behind. Once we initialize the components, once they are done, we can just simply like fill in the combo box, which I thought I did name it. Didn't I? Nope, I didn't. So CMB, now here's the thing though. If you actually try to fill it in with from the UI, I have seen a lot of people were trying to do this. So they actually go into items and then they just simply fill in the items in here once per line. You get an issue like with how you pick up the items. But if you actually fill it in, because we know that there are 4-year studies and they never change, almost, I think. So what we do here is we just simply say godinastudia.data source is going to equal to new list of integers, right? And we put the using for it. And then I'm just going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. So right now, if I hit F5 and I get this, right now I have this pre-selected. So right now it's going to be by default the first year, and I don't need to check whether it's actually has been added or not. You can add an empty item like a 0 or something like that, and then you say, okay, if it is 0, then you shouldn't actually add it or something like, or you have to pick up an actual valid year, but we will leave it like this for now. And next, so what we need to do is, like, once you press that button, you need to create a new subject and add it in there. But first, you need to make sure that that subject doesn't exist in the collection. Because right now in MemoryDB, so I think you have to say using, I cannot remember right now, so using DB, I think, DLMS, Tachka, right. I cannot remember, honestly, hang on, let's see. So db dot in MemoryDB. Okay, so it's actually working. Dot predmeti, right? So right now you can access this predmeti bit, and if you recall, we have created it as a new list. So when the application starts, it starts completely fresh. There are no subjects whatsoever, right? And you need to make sure that whenever you add a subject, you make sure that just doesn't exist. So what you can do is just simply say exists. I'm using right now. Like, yeah, I need to, it actually accepts a delegate, by the way, Boolean. It's accepted like this, should return true or false. So x equals txt nazif dot text, right? And that's it, I think. Or hang on. I actually like typed it in the class and then I forgot. Oh, yeah, I actually resolved. Hang on, I forgot probably. Ah, there we go. So there you go. So if the actual thing exists based on this, then it will actually say do not add, practically speaking. However, there's one more thing we need to make sure that if txt nazif, so actually string dot is null or empty, not this, but txt nazif dot text. We just simply we can show a message box. Name of subject cannot be empty, right? And then we can actually simply return. So we are not allowing even that the code to continue, just simply get out. So, however, if it doesn't exist, so if the actual subject does not exist in the database already, we just simply construct a new subject. So we just simply grab this dot add, and then we just simply say db new readmit, and then we fill it in. So nazif jednako this, and godina studija jednako cmb dot selected value. And what we can do is just simply cast this to an int. And that's pretty much it. To a string. Sorry, hang on. We can actually selected item maybe. It's actually quite funny that I
You can use the selected value, but it needs to be
parsed.
string.
I know, yeah, parsed. But I cast it actually when I was in the class. I cannot remember anymore. String. Why is the item is a string? Oh. Sorry. Yeah, apologies for that. I thought it was integer. I don't know how this happened. So actually selected value was valid. Yeah, I just simply got carried away probably. Yeah, yeah, I just simply forgot. Sorry. Okay, so if the subject does actually, if it doesn't exist, then we just simply add it. If it does exist, then we just simply ignore it. Or actually, we can even show an error provider or show a message box or whatever. You have the options right now are up to you. So okay, so let's give this one a try. So I'll hit F5. So right now we have pair yedan, and then we dodai, and then when we add again, it should actually say subject already exists. And if I actually try to do that, you cannot add the subject, and it will just simply interrupt the whole thing and it just returns, which is totally fine. Okay, we could add an error provider, but I will leave that to you actually to play with this. So I advise you to try the error provider instead of just showing message boxes, because message boxes are annoying. Okay, so now that's actually out of the way. Right now we are inputting we can input the academic year. Sorry, the actual subject with its academic year. Now we need to solve the student's problem, like how to add, add every subject add every subject to every student. So what we could do is go in here. Like you could do it actually when you are adding the subject actually, but let's actually have fun with this. Let's see. So I'm gonna right here say right now I need to loop over every student for each var item in memory db dot studenti, and then another for each in memory db dot predmeti. Right? It's O of n squared actually. You could have this O of n if you are adding, like when you are adding a subject, you just find all the students that are having the same academic year and just simply add the stuff. So you could do that in a much faster way. But again, it was actually quite interesting that some people got stumbled upon this and they got stuck for. So let me like say, okay, let me give it that. Let me like show it to you in that way then. So we're gonna have an if statement. So wow, cool. I mean, I know that the AI is trying their its best, but oh, okay. Good studio. Aha, now it actually figured it out. Okay, cool. Then if it is actually like if you are in that subject in the same academic year, then we're gonna have predmet student tačka predmeti tačka add predmet, right? So if you are in the same academic year as the subject, just simply add the thing, and that's pretty much it. You shouldn't do anything more, I think. One of the things that people have actually done, when they were testing the thing every single time, they had a problem with like the students have duplicate subjects and stuff like that. We could actually ask if the subject already has existed or something like that. So we could actually do that. So if predmeti dot exists, let's say like this. Right? So you don't add the student again. So when you click Dudieli again, so let's say you added the subject, right? And then you write Dudieli, and then all the students got their subjects. And then you said, okay, let me test more. And then you added another subject. Right now, if you say Dudieli without this guard, what will happen is you're going to have a student having double subjects again. So in order to forbid this, you just need to make sure that the subject doesn't exist already in his or her list of subjects. And then right now you just simply keep adding this, right? This is actually super bad, by the way, like how it's written. But right now I'm just trying, again, we are trying just to make this interesting challenges just to see how things can be solved. This can be solved in a better way by just simply, like, the moment you add a subject, you just simply loop over all students and just simply add them there. And usually, like, this happens, if you are doing this even better, it should be, like, happening on the database side, I think, rather than on C# side. But again, that's another story. Or it can be like a business rule or something like that. But yeah, it's a different story. So now that we have those, we can hit F5 right now. And I don't know. He's actually, okay, so he's actually on the first year, right? So what we can do is add a subject. dodaj, and then per 2 dodaj, and then I could like say dodieli, and right now he has it, but we need to make sure that he has it, like the student has it. So how can we know that? What we can do is having just this final little task, which is having a data grid view that can hold students' information. So F4 data grid view subjects, or hang on, let us be consistent with the code. Admit F4, and then yeah, okay, I don't need anything here. So so yeah, F7. Right now, the student actually Dennis, when you click on a student, when you double click on a student, you open the form, right? For the time being, what you can do is like, for the time being, I'm just going to keep it like comment this bit of code, and just to show you that this is actually working. So I can just simply say, okay, if the student is not known, right? So if everything is just fine, and I got the student correctly, right now he should have a list of subjects, right? So if I have data grid view, predmeti, data source is going to equal to null, then data grid view predmeti dot data source equals to student predmeti. There we go. Okay. We'll collapse this. So if I hit F5, and right now we have, and then this, the guy actually should have only 2 subjects, right? So because he's actually on the first year, right? He didn't pass any exams yet, so no question, no grades for the guy. But basically speaking, this is it. So what we can do, just to make even the test more thorough, we could have actually we can add new students. Can we? Live. Yep, we can. So what we can do here is just simply say, okay, it's going to be like the guy is on the second year. Let me pick up somebody random, Amir Musika. So if I read it right, actually I'm just going to grab this and push it right here. And then, yeah, well, do we need an image? Okay, hang on. Let me see, can I give you this then? Okay, so can I save? Okay, good. I will add another one, which will be, let's see, anybody, let's say, okay, Haris Kordic, and he's going to be a second year. Why not? Yeah, we need another picture. Just give me a second. And he has the same picture. Why not? All right, so we have like 3 students, and they don't have any subjects assigned to them, right? So what we need to do is add some subjects. So we have, as we said, per 1, per 2, per 3 is going to be na drugoj godine, dodajo, i onda imaš matematika na prvoj godine, why not? And for example, KGR na drugoj godine, not B. Right, and then we say to daily. And right now, that guy is on the second year apparently, and that guy is also on the second year. So first year, second year, second year. Okay, so right now you have this way of you might handle like this kind of assignment. Again, nakon dodavanja predmeta, so after you add the subject, you could in fact like loop over every student, just simply see if he or she legible for the subject, and just simply add the subject right there. Okay. So yeah, that was actually like when I was teaching, I was just simply like giving the students this task to do in the classroom. And that's why it took a little bit longer time until they were like, figuring out how to get the code right, get the repository correctly, and so on and so forth. So yeah. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. I will stop the recording right here.